Can I be honest with you? So I almost didn't record today. It is Monday. Typically I am a week or two ahead of my podcast, and this last couple of weeks have been really, I've had a lot of things. I've had a lot of life. I've had a lot of kid stuff. I've had a lot of school stuff. I've had a lot of just life and not bad. It's just heavy, just a lot of things. And so I almost didn't record today, not because I didn't think it mattered, because I know, like, even if this podcast is just for me, I'm at 4 years where I have never missed a Monday in 4 years. The consistency it's built. And it's not because I didn't have anything to say, because to tell you the truth, I always have something to say. At least my daughter tells me that. But it's because leadership, it's because it's just felt heavy lately. And I know I'm not the only one. And I know this has been a trend, and I've talked to some people about this. And here it is. Here it is. We're almost halfway through January. Can you believe that? Like, when I looked at the calendar and realized it's January 12th, and whenever you're listening to this, it'll be even closer to the half, or maybe over half of January. And we realized that we came into January with such high expectations and just so much momentum. Things got heavy. And this is what I see a pattern. I see this pattern with a lot of leaders I work with. Leaders that are not burnt out, but they're carrying these roles, these decisions, these identities that no longer fit. They haven't slowed down enough to see, what do I need to shed? Where do I need to get clear? And they're leading from momentum instead of clarity. And you're like, and what's crazy is I was talking with somebody today about the momentum I'm feeling and how I just need to keep going because, I want to capitalize on the momentum. And she asked me a really big question of, where's the momentum taking you? And that question is one that I hadn't stopped to think about, because if you don't drive, right? If you're not in the driver's seat, it's going to take you wherever it ends up, right? And it's not going to take you to where it needs to go. And so she's like, well, where's the clarity in the momentum? And it really, I was like, oh man, like that hit me hard, because it's something that I talk about. It's something, and then I haven't been doing it for myself. How many times do we do this? How many times do we know what to do? We tell other people what to do, and then we just take for granted that it naturally happens within us. Because it's not even like, I'm not arrogant to think that I can get to skip these points. I'm not lazy, and in that I'm not doing the work behind the work that I ask you all to do. It's this pattern that it's like, okay, well, I'll get to it later. And no one's immune. It's almost like, I was thinking about what does this feel like? It feels like you're driving with a parking brake on. I learned to drive in a stick shift. So, and I've learned to drive on stick shift on the left side of the road instead of the right side. So when I came and took my American driving test when I was 18, was definitely an eye-opening experience. And I had never driven an automatic before. But that's a whole nother story. But I was thinking about this, is that when you're driving with your parking brake on, you're still going forward, but it smells bad. And it's so much effort, and you're burning the engine out. You're burning the clutch out. You're burning whatever the parts of the car, the wheels, or, everything, your brakes, everything is burning out. So you're still moving forward. You're still making progress, but everything costs more than it should. And that's what misalignment feels like. That's when moving forward without intention or without clarity looks like. That's when you have jumped into January and just kept things moving, versus sitting back and asking yourself, okay, what do I want to take with me into January and into, the first quarter? And what do I need to shed? What do I need to say no to in order to say yes to things that really matter? And this is the difference between leaders that I work with and ones that I don't. These are the ones I work with. They see the pattern of, like, I want the goal and I don't want to be burned out. They're carrying the roles, the decisions, like I said, and identities that no longer fit. and they don't know that why, but it's not even that they're afraid to set it down. They don't know what to set down. And then just this leading from momentum where there's like, once we get into action, just stay in action. And for a gut center group, that is really natural. But it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it always work. For a heart-centered group, this action, it feels a little bit heavier because it's not typical unless it's aligned with the heart behind it, the why behind the why. And with our head center, this logical side, you get burnt out faster because the direction I'm going is not leading in the outcome or the destination that I want. And so heavy isn't a character flaw. Heavy is a signal. It means your internal system hasn't caught up with your external success, your external movement, your external momentum, your internal system, what's going on inside of you, your internal operating system is still functioning today's problems with yesterday's operating mode. Just like our phones need periodic updates. Just like I told the story last week about my watch, how it stopped working because it didn't have the capabilities. And now that I have a new watch that works great with my phone and it's up to full capacity. When we've outgrown something, but we haven't named it yet, we're still going to be holding on to these old systems, these old habits, these old subconscious, unconscious behaviors, these habits, patterns, the reaction mode, and we need to catch up to where we are today. If leadership didn't have to feel this heavy, what would need to change? If this is resonating, if you're feeling like leadership has been heavy for you, if you feel like you are the success that you've experienced or you are about to experience, you see you're stepping into this new exciting opportunity, and yet you're like, my habits and my patterns, my thought process, the way I communicate is still with yesterday's operating mode, and you're ready to get an upgrade. If you're ready to get an alignment, because as I talked about last week, when being out of alignment doesn't mean that all the pieces don't exist. It means they're not in the right order. And when we put things in the right order, when we attack them in the way that we know makes sense today, and it could be all the same pieces as yesterday, but we need to put first things first, or we need to lead with more gusto and less compassion. Doesn't mean your compassion isn't there. It means that your compassion is behind what your decisions are today. So there's a difference there. But I ask you, if the leadership didn't have to feel this heavy, what would need to change? And when I answered this for myself, it was really surprising, because it's not that I don't need the podcast anymore. It wasn't that I'm not going to post on LinkedIn, or even I'm working on my weekly emails and creating these emails to bring value to my peeps, to my people, because I see so many times how just a little reminder of, you've got this. Just don't step back into your old operating system until your new one is fully loaded. Just that reminder, it excites me to do these things. But what would need to change? And so I looked at that and looked at what some of the things that I brought into January that I was like, I intended to set them down, and I didn't. So what needs to change for you? And I've been working on something as a private audio for leaders who are noticing this weight. Not to give you more to do, because if you listen to me for any length of time, you know that it's not about doing more. It's about being in alignment with what you're doing and owning what you're doing and saying yes to things you need to say yes to, but it's also a lot about shedding the things, saying no to things that are no longer operating, that are no longer serving you. So I've been working on this private audio series for leaders who've noticing the weight, not to give you more to do, but to help you see what's actually happening beneath the surface. And I'm going to share more soon. I'm putting this out there because for accountability, my goal is to have it done. I've already recorded everything, and now it's all the tech pieces and getting it edited and all of that. And so I'm, in the next 2 weeks. So if you're interested in this private audio series, it's free. It's going to be, and the great part about this is it's a program that you click on it and it goes straight to your whatever podcast you listen to, but it is private to you. It is your audio series. So it's pretty cool, but I'll share more soon. But I just want to give you this permission slip that if things are feeling heavy right now, if you looked like me, you looked at the date and like, where did January go? Give yourself some time to really look at what is feeling heavy. What about it? Because I guarantee your capacity hasn't been reached. It's the emotion behind it. It's the weight of it. And it's the carrying things, whether it is the decisions or carrying roles that you've hired someone to do and they haven't been doing it. Or this identity that no longer fits as you're stepping into this leader who you want to be. So if this is resonating with you, get on a call with me. Let's chat. DM me on LinkedIn. I have been having some really fun conversations with some leaders in LinkedIn and learning about their story on like what does heaviness look like for them and how like there's similarities and then there's differences, and it's been fascinating. So I would love to hear. I'd love to hear what's going on with you and your leadership and what you want, because if we want 2026 to look different than 2025, we need to stop treating heaviness as we need to change everything or we need to chuck it all and move to Bali. We get to look at it because it is not a character flaw. It's not. It's a signal that something needs to change, that our internal system needs to catch up with our external success, that today's problems is being solved with yesterday's operating mode. And so it's fixable, and it's something that we can do really quickly. So if this is resonating with you, and if it's just, you just need a moment to say, okay, this is what's working, and I know that this is not working, but I don't know what to do about it. Let's chat. Let's talk. Let's get to the root of what your operating system needs to look like in order to have the success and feel the success, and let it be effortless and enjoyable and fulfilling versus heavy and draining and eventually burning out. So if this is the time for you, TamiMarieCoaching.com/call or Tami Imlay on LinkedIn, and let's chat. All right. I think I'm going to end there because I just thought of a whole nother tangent that I can go on, and it's time to get this podcast out and get to my next thing and really look at what am I setting down this January that I meant to set down 2 weeks ago, but I haven't. So if you're with me, ask yourself that question too. All right. Well, with that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you. I can't wait to talk to you. I can't wait to share this, this leadership. Let me tell you what the title of it is. The working title right now is the Leadership Operating System Briefing, a private audio briefing for senior leaders who are successful, respected, and quietly carrying more leadership weight than they should. And this came from talking with multiple leaders, senior leaders who are doing amazing work and all have that similar feeling that leadership is weighing them down, that it's the difference of, do I even want this anymore? And but they said, like, I do want it. I just don't want it to be so heavy. And this private audio briefing helps you work through that. So anyway, I'm really excited about it. I'm super proud of it. I can't wait to get it out to you. So you'll have to wait until then. But for now, choose joy until joy chooses you. And I will talk to you really soon. All right. Bye for now. Before you go, I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me. I know your attention is valuable and I don't take it lightly. If this episode gave you language for something that you've been carrying, I'd love for you to give me a rate and review on the podcast. This helps the conversation reach others and other leaders who need to hear it. It also helps me see what landed and what you want more of. And if leadership starts to feel heavier than it should, you don't have to figure it out alone. You can book a leadership strategy call in the show notes, TamiMarieCoaching.com/call. And until next time, lead with clarity, stay grounded in who you are, and choose joy until joy chooses you. Bye for now.